In the year 2037, people all over the world were busy with their daily lives. Technology had grown a lot, and space travel was not just a dream, but something humans were working on seriously. Scientists had many tools to watch the sky, listen to sounds from space, and search for signs of life beyond Earth. But one day, something very strange happened. A weak signal came from deep space. It was not like anything the scientists had heard before. It was a soft but clear cry for help, and it was filled with pain and fear. The signal was coming from a place far away, much farther than the moon or even Mars. At first, many people thought it was just noise or some mistake from their machines. But the sound was too strange to ignore. It seemed like a voice, a call from someone who needed help badly. The government agencies and big space organizations tried to analyze it, but they could not understand the language or the meaning. The signal was full of strange sounds and codes that no one had seen before. Among all these experts was Dr. Ryan-Malik. He was a scientist who loved space and languages. He had worked with signals from space for many years, and he believed that the signal was real. It was not just noise or an error. Ryan felt something special about this message. It was as if the voice was reaching out, asking for help in the most desperate way. The voice was soft but clear. It was a cry for help from someone very far away. Ryan worked alone at first. He stayed up late every night, trying to decode the strange sounds. He used computers and special programs to break the code. Many times he felt frustrated because the message was so complicated. It was like trying to understand a language no one had ever spoken before. But he kept trying. His heart told him that this message was important. It was not just sounds in space. It was the last hope of someone who was alone and afraid. One night, after many weeks of hard work, Ryan made a breakthrough. He found some parts of the message that looked like words. They were not words in any human language, but they had patterns. Ryan realized that the voice belonged to a female being, not from Earth. She was trying to tell something before her message stopped. The signal grew weaker as time passed. It was as if she was running out of strength. Ryan knew this was her last cry for help. Excited and worried at the same time, Ryan wanted to share his discovery with others. He contacted the United Nations and the top space agencies, but no one believed him. They said the message was a mistake, a trick, or a signal from a machine that was broken. They were not ready to accept that a real being, an alien, was sending a message asking for help. Some even told Ryan to stop wasting his time. Ryan felt lonely. Many people did not understand the importance of what he had found, but he did not give up. He believed that every life mattered, no matter where it came from. He thought, if there was someone out there in danger, someone calling for help, humanity should not ignore her. It was not just science. It was a matter of kindness and hope. Ryan decided to work in secret. He joined hands with a small group of scientists and volunteers who also believed in the message. They shared his passion and courage. They helped him improve his equipment, find new ways to track the signal, and prepare for something no one had ever done before, a rescue mission to save a life from deep space. The signal's origin was finally traced to a small, broken spacecraft. It was drifting near a strange and dangerous space phenomenon called a wormhole. A wormhole is like a tunnel in space that connects two very far places, but it is very unstable and can pull things into it, destroying them. The alien ship was caught near the edge of this tunnel, slowly falling into darkness. Ryan and his team knew this was their chance and their challenge. The alien girl's life depended on their courage and skill. They began planning a journey to reach her. The trip would be dangerous, and no human had ever gone so far before. But Ryan and his friends were ready to risk everything. While working on their plan, Ryan often thought about the girl. Who was she? Where did she come from? Why was she alone in such a scary place? Her cry for help was not just a message in space. It was a call that touched his heart. It made him believe that humanity had a power that no technology could match, the power to care, to act when others would not, and to save a life no matter how far away it was. Every day, Rayon listened again to the faint, fading cry. It reminded him that somewhere out there, someone was waiting for a chance to be saved. This hope gave him strength. The world might not believe, but he knew that he had to try. Her last cry for help was a challenge, and Rayon was ready to answer it. Dr. Rayon Malik felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. After spending weeks decoding the mysterious signal, he knew the alien girl's cry for help was real and urgent. But when he tried to share his discovery with the world's leaders and top space agencies, he faced something he did not expect: silence and disbelief. The leaders and scientists said the signal was just a mistake or a trick. They thought it was caused by faulty equipment or natural space noise. Some even laughed at the idea that a real being was asking for help from so far away. They told Rayon to stop wasting time on something they called nonsense. But Rayon could not stop. He felt a deep connection to that desperate voice. To him, it was more than a signal. It was a life calling out from the darkness. Every day, he looked at the fading messages and thought about what would happen if no one answered. He could not live with the idea that someone might die alone in the cold, empty space. With no support from the big organizations, Rayon made a bold decision. He would act alone, or almost alone. He reached out to a small group of trusted scientists and engineers, people who believed in him and the importance of the mission. They were not famous or powerful, but they shared the same hope. They worked quietly in small labs, away from the eyes of the world. Together, they studied the signal and the strange space near the wormhole where the alien ship was stuck. It was a dangerous place. Wormholes could collapse or explode without warning. No one had ever sent a rescue mission to that area. The technology was old, and resources were limited, but their determination was stronger than their fear. Rayon's team started preparing a plan. They looked for any spacecraft that could travel far and fast enough. They repaired an old prototype ship that had been left unused for years. It was small and fragile, but it had the right engines to make the journey. The ship needed many repairs and upgrades, and the team worked day and night, hoping to be ready before the signal disappeared forever. While preparing, Rayon thought about the alien girl. What was her life like? Was she scared? Was she waiting for someone to save her? He could not imagine being alone in space, far from home, with no one to hear your cry. This thought gave him courage. It made him even more certain that they had to try, no matter the risk. Ryan also knew that the mission was more than just science. It was about humanity's heart. It was a test to see if people could care for someone they did not know. Someone from another world. Could humans answer a call for help, even when it seemed impossible? For Rayon, the answer was yes. As the day of the mission came closer, the team trained hard. They prepared for every challenge: mechanical failures, power shortages, and the dangers of flying near a wormhole. They practiced teamwork, because only by working together could they survive such a journey. Each member of the team had a special role, and they trusted each other deeply. When the launch day finally arrived, the team felt a mix of excitement and fear. The world outside still ignored the signal. No media covered the event. Only a few people knew about their mission, but inside the small ship, hope burned bright. Rayan looked at the controls and the small window showing the stars. He thought about the alien girl and whispered a promise. "We are coming. Hold on." The ship left Earth's atmosphere slowly, passing the clouds and moving into the vast darkness of space. The journey was long and full of dangers. At times, the ship shook violently from meteor showers. The team had to repair systems while floating in zero gravity. They faced moments when power almost ran out, but each time they found a way forward. During the trip, strange things began to happen. The crew started seeing visions, images of a young girl with shining eyes calling out silently. Sometimes, in the quiet moments, they felt a deep sadness and hope mixed together. It was as if the alien's cry was not just a sound, but a feeling reaching their hearts. This connection made the mission even more personal. As they neared the wormhole, tension grew. The ship's instruments warned them of unstable gravity and dangerous radiation. They had to move carefully, or the ship could be pulled into the collapsing tunnel. The team worked together, guided by Rayon's steady leadership. They remembered why they were there, to answer a desperate call for help. Finally, after many days and many challenges, they reached the area where the signal was strongest. The alien ship was there, small, broken, and drifting slowly toward the dark edge of the wormhole. It looked fragile, like a broken shell floating in the vast emptiness. Rayan felt a rush of relief and urgency at the same time. The alien girl was still alive, but not for long. With steady hands and calm minds, the team prepared to dock with the alien ship. It was a delicate operation. One wrong move could destroy the ship or send them all spinning into space. Slowly, carefully, they connected their ship to the alien craft and opened the airlock. Inside, the ship was silent and cold. The team found the alien girl in a small chamber. She was weak but breathing. Her skin glowed softly in the dark. Rayan's heart raced. This was the moment they had trained for, the moment to save a life that no one else had tried to reach. As Rayan and his team worked to stabilize her, the alien girl's eyes opened briefly. She looked at them with a mixture of fear and hope. In that moment, Rayan knew they had done something incredible. They had answered a call that no one else would. The journey back to Earth was still long and difficult, but now they carried with them a new hope, a hope that humanity's greatest power was not weapons or machines, but the courage to help others no matter how far away they were. The journey through space was not easy for Dr. Rayan Malik and his team. After docking with the alien ship and finding the fragile girl inside, their mission had changed. Now, they had to bring her safely back to Earth. But space was full of dangers, especially near the strange wormhole that threatened to pull everything into its dark depths. The small ship creaked and shuddered as it left the broken alien craft behind. The alien girl, who they later learned was named Alenra, lay quietly in a special chamber they had made to keep her safe. She was very weak, and the team worked around the clock to keep her stable. Every beep of the monitors mattered. Every small sign of life was a victory. As they moved farther away from the wormhole, strange things began to happen. The crew started to feel unusual sensations. Sometimes, they would see flashes of light or hear soft whispers in the silence of space. It was as if Alenra's presence sent waves of energy that touched their minds and hearts. The connection between them grew stronger with every passing day. One night, while the ship floated quietly among the stars, Rayan sat alone by the window. The vastness of space stretched out before him, dark and endless. He thought about the long journey ahead and the challenges they still had to face. Suddenly, a feeling came over him, a mixture of sadness, hope, and determination. It was like the silent cry of Alenra was calling directly to him, asking for strength and courage. The crew noticed these strange experiences too. They began sharing their feelings openly, something they had not done before. They talked about how Alenra's silent call seemed to reach into their souls, pushing them to be better, to care more. It was not just a rescue mission anymore. It had become a journey of hope and understanding. During one of their routine checks, the ship's systems detected a sudden drop in power. The team quickly realized they had entered a dangerous zone filled with asteroids and space debris. The HFY Small ship shook violently as it dodged rocks flying at high speed. Everyone held their breath, working together to keep control. Ryan's voice was calm but firm. "Focus on your stations. We have to stay steady. We're almost through this." The team's training paid off. After tense moments, they passed safely through the asteroid field. But the danger was far from over. The closer they got to Earth, the more challenges appeared. Radiation storms, mechanical failures, and unexpected space weather tested their limits. Each problem made the team stronger, and their bond grew deeper. Meanwhile, Alenra slowly began to show signs of life. She opened her eyes for longer periods, and sometimes she tried to communicate. Her voice was soft and musical, unlike any human language, but the team used special devices to translate her words. Through her broken speech, they learned about her world, a beautiful planet far from Earth, where her people lived in peace before disaster struck. Alenra told them about the enemies who had hunted her people, forcing her to flee in the small ship. Her last hope had been the signal she sent, a final cry for help before the wormhole trapped her forever. Now, she was safe with humans, the ones who had answered her call when no one else did. The crew felt a new sense of purpose. They were no longer just rescuers. They were witnesses to a story of survival and hope that connected two very different worlds. They promised each other they would protect Alenra and help her find a new home. As the ship traveled through the quiet darkness, the team often gathered to talk about the future. They dreamed of a world where humans and aliens could live together in peace and understanding. Alenra's silent cry had awakened something deep inside them, a power beyond technology or weapons. It was the power of kindness, courage, and connection. 1. Evening, as Earth's blue light began to glow faintly in the distance, Ryan stood by the window again. He felt proud and humbled. The mission was far from over, but they had already done something extraordinary. They had answered a call that many thought was impossible to hear. Alenra's presence reminded them that no matter how far apart they were, no matter how different their worlds seemed, every life was precious. And sometimes, the smallest cry for help could awaken humanity's greatest power. The moment they carefully docked with the broken alien ship, a quiet hope filled the air. Inside the cold, dim cabin, the team found her, the alien girl. She was small and fragile, lying inside a glowing chamber that looked like a tiny room, made of light. Her skin shimmered softly and her breathing was shallow but steady. Dr. Rayan Malik's heart raced. After all the danger and uncertainty, here she was, alive. The team worked quickly to bring her back to full health. They moved her carefully to the small medical room on their ship, where they had prepared special equipment to help her recover. Alenra, as she later called herself, was weak and confused. She could not speak Earth's languages yet, but her eyes told stories of pain, loss, and hope. The team did their best to comfort her, knowing she had suffered more than they could imagine. Slowly, over many days, Alenra began to regain strength. She listened and watched as the humans around her talked gently and showed kindness. Though she was far from home, she felt a small spark of safety and trust. Ryan spent long hours trying to communicate with her, using pictures, sounds, and simple words. At last, she began to understand a few words, and her soft voice started to respond. One evening, as the ship sailed silently through space, Alenra shared her story. Through broken words and gestures, she revealed that her people were peaceful and had lived for centuries on a distant planet called Lyria. But their world was attacked by a powerful enemy who wanted to destroy everything they loved. Alenra was the last survivor. She had escaped in the small ship, sending out her final cry for help before the wormhole trapped her. Her story filled the team with sadness, but also with determination. They realized how important it was that they had answered her call. It was not just a rescue. It was a chance to save a whole culture's last hope. Rayan and the others promised her they would protect her and help her find a new home. As days passed, the ship continued its slow journey back to Earth. The crew faced many technical problems, but their spirit was stronger than ever. Alenra's presence united them. They worked together like a family, ready to face whatever challenges came next. At one point, the ship entered a dangerous zone filled with space storms. Lightning-like flashes danced outside the windows, and the ship rocked wildly. The team held tight to their stations, guiding the ship carefully through the storm. Alenra's hand trembled as she watched the fierce light show, but she did not lose hope. The crew's calm and courage gave her strength. In quieter moments, Rayan often sat with Alenra, learning more about her world and dreams. She spoke of Lyria's beautiful forests, sparkling rivers, and kind people. She told him about her family and friends, and the joy they had shared before the darkness came. Hearing her stories made the team understand that this mission was about more than saving one life. It was about protecting hope itself. When the ship finally approached Earth, news of the mission began to spread. People were amazed and curious about the alien girl who had been rescued from deep space. Scientists, leaders, and ordinary citizens watched closely as the small ship returned. Many felt hope stirring in their hearts. Rayan prepared for the difficult moment when they would introduce Alenra to the world. He worried about how she would be treated. Would people fear her? Would they accept her? But he also believed that humanity had changed. The team had shown what people could do when they acted with kindness and courage. As the ship landed, a crowd gathered, cameras flashed, and reporters asked questions. Alenra stepped out carefully, looking at the new world with wide eyes. She was different, but the kindness in her smile touched everyone. Rayan stood beside her, proud of what they had accomplished together. Alenra's story inspired many. Her last cry for help had awakened something powerful in humanity, a reminder that no matter how different we are, every life deserves to be saved and valued. She became a symbol of hope, unity, and the strength found in answering a call when all seems lost. The journey had been long and hard, but it showed that the greatest power humans have is not in their technology or weapons. It is in their hearts, their ability to care, to take risks, and to stand together in the face of the unknown. After the small spaceship safely landed on Earth, the world finally saw her, the alien girl named Alenra. Her presence amazed many people and stirred many feelings. Some were curious, some were afraid, and some were full of hope. For the first time, humanity faced a new reality. A real visitor from another world who had called out for help and was now here, among them. News about Alenra spread quickly. She was no longer just a signal from space or a distant story. She was real, living, proof that life existed beyond Earth, and that life could be fragile and in need of kindness. People across the globe watched her story closely. Scientists wanted to learn about her world and her people. Leaders had to think carefully about how to welcome her and what this meant for Earth's future. Alenra's gentle and kind nature touched many hearts. She was shy but brave, and her eyes held a deep sadness for all she had lost. Yet she also carried a quiet hope that things could be better. The people who met her saw that her message was clear. Kindness and courage are the strongest powers of all. Rayan and his team became her protectors and friends. They helped her learn human languages, understand Earth's customs, and feel safe in a world very different from her own. In return, Alenra shared stories of her home planet, Lyria, a place full of beauty and peace before war tore it apart. Her words reminded everyone how precious life is, no matter where it comes from. Her presence began to change minds and hearts. People started to see beyond fear and suspicion. They saw a chance for unity and new beginnings. Alenra's story inspired, many to believe that cooperation between different worlds was possible. It reminded humanity of their own potential, the power to care for others, to protect the weak, and to stand up against cruelty. Governments and scientists worked together to support Alenra and explore peaceful ways to connect with other life forms. The world began to prepare for a future where humans were not alone in the universe. Schools taught children about kindness to all beings, and people everywhere talked about the importance of helping those in need, no matter where they came from. Alenra became a symbol of hope and change. She showed that even when everything seems lost, one voice can make a difference. Her last cry for help had awakened a power in humanity that no one expected, the power to unite, to heal, and to grow stronger through compassion. For Rayon, the journey had been life-changing. He realized that the greatest discovery was not the alien girl herself, but what she had brought to Earth. A reminder that true strength comes from listening, caring, and acting with an open heart. He often thought about the day he first heard her signal and how one person's belief could change the fate of many. The world had learned an important lesson. Technology and weapons might protect people, but only kindness and courage could truly save lives. Alenra's survival and the mission to rescue her proved that humanity's unmatched power was the willingness to answer when someone called out in need. As time passed, Alenra grew stronger and found a new place among humans. She helped teach others about peace and hope, and though she missed her home, she knew she had found a new family on Earth, one ready to listen and ready to act. Her story was told again and again, reminding everyone that no matter how dark the night, one last cry for help can awaken the brightest light. It can bring out the best in humanity and lead the way to a future where all lives matter, no matter where they come from.